welcome back to Dalra Models. So, brand new video with a brand new bike from Tamiya. So I know some people are really excited about this. So as you can see, it's the Honda CBR Fireblade, which is a new bike that Honda have done recently. So the box is usual Tamiya. Got a few words on the box to tell you about the kit, some detailed photos to show what the bike interior is like, and a couple of paint schemes. So inside the box I've got the detailed fork set, which has some nice turned metal anodized parts for the front forks and a couple of the suspension pieces and things, as well as a few extra bits for the actual finishing off the forks. So I always get the fork sets when they're available because it just adds a bit more realism to the build. So I've not actually gone through the box itself and looked at the contents, so this is the first time you doing it with me, although I have taken staples out because they're a pain. So as usual, we've got a little bag here that has screws and ties and things in. So we've got a variety of screws and a pin of some variety, which is how Tamiya tends to hold their bike kit together. And then there's another one with some smaller screws, a long one which is probably for the rear axle, and a hex bolt which probably covers up one of the screw holes or something like that. And then we've got a couple of diameters of wire, thick and a thin. So it looks like they're a little bit thinner than Tamiya used to do as well, which is nice. So they're actually getting better at that. The rear spring, which, depending on what my reference photos show, I'll be using this one because it's pre-painted. Screwdrivers you get in every bike kit, and a couple of rubber washers for the screws or something. And then we've got tyres. So again, typical Tamiya quality, nicely moulded, very fine seam line down the centre, which will easily be sanded off. Directional marks there on both sides of the front tyre and on the rear, but there's no manufacturer's markings or anything, so it's just the arrows that are on those. And we've got body parts, fairing panels and things. So I missed a couple of screws on there. So that's the fuel tank cover at the front. Let me whip these staples out quickly. Actually have a proper look. So again, nice crisp mouldings in there. Just what you'd expect from a modern Tamiya kit. And they make the detachment points as well, so they're actually underneath rather than on the front, so it makes clean-up a little bit easier, unless likely that you're going to damage it in some way or anything like that when you cut it off. So it's nice that they do that. And there's the back of the tank. So there's a big seam line that runs round here, curves round. See it there, and then down the back, so some sanding still required. I was thinking, because it was moulded like this, you wouldn't have the joint going up that you'd have to clean, but you've still got some clean up that you're going to need to do on it. It's not too bad. Front nose section, front mud guard as usual in two pieces, side panels, so again you've still got screw holes for the side fairings. And then the belly pan, two pieces. I'm assuming that's for the rear section, behind the seat, or where the seat is. Fluid reservoir of some kind, nice touch. Number plate, a couple of other pieces on there, so nothing untoward on there. I am a little bit disappointed on that seam line on the tank, but yeah, there's only so much that it can do. And then the black sprue has wheels, brake discs and various other pieces on it, so nothing looks out of place or problematic on here that I can see. Mirrors, a bit like some of the other bikes, are in two pieces because it's got the indicators in the mirrors. So I'm assuming they'll be painted silver or bare metal foil or something over it. One thing that I know a few people have noticed already on this kit, for those that have already seen it, is the discs are pre-drilled. So that's the rear one, and they're the two front ones. So save quite a bit of time and effort, and probably some drill bits as well, trying to get through all of those. But you have got the ABS sensor disc moulded in there, so some masking required to paint that, because that'll be a different colour. Kit forks, some fans which, as you can see, have gaps in that they're not completely solid, which is nice. Engine covers, nicely moulded with the logos in and stuff, and nice bolt head details in there. So looking a good kit now so far. And then got some nice wheel details. Got tyre valves moulded in. They look nice and thin, and again there's a little bit of cleanup required, but manufacturing process is not what they can do. Grey part, you've got exhaust pieces and the main engine assembly, which again, very crisp, nice mouldings. But as I said, with it being a brand new Tamiya kit, you wouldn't expect anything less from them. So there's nothing untoward, nothing unexpected that you're going to find in it. Chain detail. So everything looks like you'd expect from a Tamiya kit in the parts and everything. So rear chain tensioners there. So they're obviously separate pieces, which will be interesting. And the damper for the steering. So some nice bits in there. The exhaust doesn't look too bad either. It's looks like that'll be okay. No problems there. Moving on to the clear parts. So there's your main screen. You've got some various lights. You've got the wheels for the paddock stand, because it's obviously based on a race bike for track days and stuff, and various other indicators and things. So very crisp and clear mouldings there. So I'll put that back in back so I don't get it scratched. And then last sprue is this second black one, which has got main frame on it, the under seat section where the rear wheel will be, fuel tank and various other components, handles. So there's your handlebars with brake lever and clutch lever. And everything looks as I would expect it to look. So nothing different to any other kit. Decals, small staples that I've missed. So you've got the, assuming they're the mirror ones, aren't they? Metal transfer parts, some masking tape for the blue and red paint scheme, if you choose to go with that. Main decal sheet. You've got a couple of number plate options, emblems, and the colours for the fairings are all on decal, so you don't have to try and paint them or mask them up. And then the other one, which has got all of the logos, emblems, dials and a few rivet details which I probably won't use. Again, they look okay. The clocks have some Nice sharp detail in those. So yeah, the decals look quite good. What have we got next? Painting instructions and decal placement. So you've got the matte black paint job and the red and blue paint scheme, and then a little bit right at the back of the bike. And then the last bit in the box is the instructions. So move the box out of the way and see if this fits on the desk. So I think early on you might have to decide what you're going for. I don't know at what point you need to commit to that. So what's first? Engine assembly. So it's following typical Tamiya call outs. Let's just have a look what that says. Right, so finishing off the assembly of the engine, then moving on to the frame, fitting the engine into the frame, and this correction sheet is for that. So I think it's just doing the colour call out for that is TS6, which will be TS6 is matte black for that, which it's missed on the call out, and a couple of other corrections on these parts as well, which I'll look at in a second. So you've got some of your hoses that need to go in. No screws there, it clicks into place, which is nice. This is your rear paddock stand, rear suspension, swing arm, chain, rear wheel. So like any other Tamiya bike really, in the way it's assembling, it does the engine, then the frame, then the rear swing arm, rear wheel. There's the hex pin that I showed you in the bag, goes in that hole there, and then the exhaust, radiators, and then moving on to the front. So you've got the front wheel, mudguard, forks, all the rest of it. And it tells you as well, I think, can't see it, it normally tells you that there's, there you go, DT, DP, so detail parts is for these, so it tells you where to use these. So I thought it was there somewhere. And then the same for these, for these bits up here, the detail parts that are all these little bits down here, which I'm not going to open that bag because I don't want to get them lost. And it should also tell you, if I go back a little bit, it tells you the same when you do the rear thing, DP again, for the spring. So your clocks have 3 options as we saw in the instructions. We'll have to have a look at those, what the difference is between them and where you would use them. And onto the fairing panels and the tank and everything. So nothing out of the ordinary. That's got a screw there, but then I think that piece covers that screw up. And then that's just clipped on as well. So so there might not be any visible screws on the actual fairing itself, because that looks like the only one that gets covered. So they're getting better at it. It's just still the wheels and things, but I'll be changing those anyway. And then final details, just putting the number plate stuff on. So nice looking kit, plenty of parts to be getting on with, and I'll hopefully get a start on this soon. So there you go, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you next time.